Lieutenant Jack Miller yawned as he stared at the radar screen. Another quiet night aboard the U.S. Dauntless, 8 months into their deep space patrol near Jupiter's orbit, and nothing exciting had happened yet. He reached for his coffee mug, only to freeze when an unusual blip appeared on his screen. "Captain, I'm picking up an object at coordinates 227 to 43,891, Jack said, suddenly alert. "It's not one of ours." Captain Frank Ward was at his side in seconds. "Asteroid." "No, sir. It's changing course." Deliberately, Jack tapped at his console, bringing up more data. Size of a small car, moving at speeds our ships can't match. Ward didn't hesitate. "Sound general quarters. All hands to stations." The Dauntless hummed with activity as crew members rushed to their posts. In the science lab, Chief Science Officer Lisa Bell prepared her equipment. Whatever this object was, they needed to study it. "Object is slowing down," Jack announced over the comm. "It appears to be observing us." Ward made a decision. "Let's catch it. Lieutenant Miller, plot an intercept course." The Dauntless changed direction, engines firing as they moved toward the mysterious object. For 3 hours, they followed it through Jupiter's orbital path until finally the object stopped. "It's just waiting there," Jack said. Ward nodded. "Dr. Bell, prepare the retrieval team. We're bringing it aboard." In the cargo bay, Lisa and her team stood ready as the mechanical arms of the ship carefully captured the alien probe. It was silvery, with no visible seams or openings, shaped like a teardrop. Strange symbols covered its surface. "Definitely not human-made," Lisa whispered, scanning it with her equipment. Reading unknown metals and energy signatures, Jack joined her in the cargo bay. "Any idea what it is?" "Some kind of probe, I think." Lisa ran her fingers near, but not touching, the smooth surface. The symbols might be a language. For the next 12 hours, Lisa worked nonstop trying to understand the probe. She fed the symbols into the ship's computer, attempting to find patterns that might indicate communication. "It's not responding to radio signals, light sequences, or sound," she told the captain during a briefing. "But it's definitely active. It's observing us." "Is it dangerous?" Ward asked. Lisa shrugged. "No signs of weapons, but there's something like a transmitter inside. It might be sending data back to wherever it came from." Admiral Paul Rogers joined the briefing through video link from Earth. His face looked serious on the screen. "Dr. Bell, can you determine where it might be transmitting to?" "Not precisely, sir. Somewhere beyond our solar system." Rogers frowned. "I don't like this. Captain Ward, prepare tow." He never finished his sentence. The probe in the cargo bay suddenly lit up with a bright blue light. The ship's alarms blared. "It's activating." Lisa shouted into her comm as she ran back to the cargo bay. By the time she arrived, the probe was hovering above the floor, spinning faster and faster. Energy readings spiked off her equipment scales. "Everyone out," she ordered, backing away. "Seal the bay." The crew barely escaped before the probe emitted a pulse of energy that knocked out the ship's power for 30 seconds. When the emergency systems came back online, the probe had settled back down, now dark and seemingly inactive. "What happened?" Ward demanded when he reached the cargo bay viewing window. Lisa checked her readings. It sent a transmission. Powerful. Directed. She looked up, her face pale. It sent Earth's exact coordinates into deep space. Jack's voice was quiet. "We just put a target on our planet, didn't we?" 2 days later, long-range scanners detected multiple large objects entering the solar system at incredible speed. Admiral Rogers ordered all available ships to defensive positions and activated Earth's planetary defense systems. "Lieutenant Miller," Rogers said over the secure channel, "you and the Dauntless found them first. I'm naming you as our first contact specialist when they arrive." Jack looked out the viewport at the distant stars. Somewhere out there, something was coming. He hoped Earth was ready. 3 days after the probe incident, the alien ships entered Earth orbit. 7 massive vessels, each the size of a small city, positioned themselves around the planet. Their dark metal hulls absorbed sunlight rather than reflected it, making them look like moving shadows against the stars. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer on the UN space station. Major Olivia Wright stood beside UN Secretary General Howard Burns as the main screen flickered to life. The face that appeared wasn't human. It had gray-blue skin, 6 yellow eyes arranged in a circle, and what looked like gills on the sides of its neck. "I am Commander Zexthal of the Valtharian Fleet," the alien said in perfect English. "Your world has been marked for integration or cleansing." Burns stepped forward. "I am Secretary General Burns of the United Nations. We welcome peaceful contact with your civilization." The alien made a sound like stones grinding together. "Peace is submission. You will submit or be removed." In the corner of the room, Engineer Sam Carter watched with growing concern. He had been called to the meeting for his expertise in communications technology, but found himself witnessing history instead. "We don't understand what you mean by submission," Burns said carefully. "Your species will serve or die. You have 72 of your hours to decide." Zexthal's gills flared. "To demonstrate our power." The screen went dark. Seconds later, every electronic device on Earth flickered and died. Global communications, power grids, satellites, all offline. Only essential systems on military bases and hospitals remained functioning, and even those were struggling. "What just happened?" Wright asked, looking at the emergency lights that had activated. Sam checked his tablet, which was still working due to the station's shielding. "They hit us with some kind of electromagnetic pulse, but more advanced than anything we've ever seen. After exactly 5 minutes, power returned worldwide." The alien commander reappeared on screen. "This was a small demonstration," Zexthal said. "When we return in 72 hours, your answer will be accepted or your resistance will be ended." The screen went dark again, this time because the aliens had cut the transmission. An emergency meeting of the UN Security Council convened immediately. Military leaders from around the world joined by secure channels that had been hastily restored. "We can't fight technology like that," said General Roy Bennett of the United States. "We can't surrender either," added Colonel Wei from China. "These aliens clearly don't value human life." Major Wright stood up. "I recommend we appear to negotiate while preparing our defenses. We need time." Sam Carter, who had been invited to provide technical insight, raised his hand. "There might be a weakness we can exploit." All eyes turned to him. "The pulse they used should have fried everything electronic on the planet," Sam explained. "But it didn't. They specifically avoided certain systems, hospitals, some military installations. That suggests either they can target with incredible precision, or," Wright prompted, "or they have limitations we don't understand yet. They might be protecting certain types of technology that could harm them too." Admiral Rogers, joining from the U.S. Dauntless, nodded. "Carter has a point." Lieutenant Miller reported unusual energy readings from the probe before it transmitted, something about the frequency. Sam's eyes lit up. "Yes, the alien tech uses a specific energy band. If we can disrupt that." "We need more information," Wright said, "and we need it fast." Secretary General Burns nodded grimly. "I'll handle the diplomacy. Buy us as much time as possible. Major Wright, coordinate our military options. And Mr. Carter, find that weakness." As the meeting ended, Sam studied the limited data they had on the alien ships. Something about their technology seemed strangely familiar, like he had seen aspects of it before in everyday items. He just needed to figure out which ones. Outside, the alien ships remained in orbit, silent sentinels watching a planet that had less than 3 days to find a way to survive. Earth's military forces launched their best weapons at one of the Valtharian ships. Missiles, laser systems, and experimental railguns all bounced off invisible shields or exploded before reaching their target. Not even a scratch appeared on the alien vessel. "Nothing's working," Major Wright said as she watched the footage in the underground command center. "We've used everything short of nuclear weapons." Admiral Rogers shook his head. "The president won't authorize nuclear strikes while the aliens are in orbit. The fallout would affect Earth more than them." Sam Carter hadn't slept in 36 hours. His desk was covered with pieces of electronics, coffee cups, and notes. He looked up from his work. "Their shields operate on a specific frequency. Our weapons can't penetrate because they're too expected." "What does that mean?" Wright asked. "They've defended against conventional weapons, but what about unconventional ones?" Sam held up what looked like a modified kitchen blender. "This creates almost the same frequency their ships use for communication." Lieutenant Jack Miller, who had arrived from the Dauntless, picked up the blender. "You think we can fight aliens with kitchen appliances?" "Not just that," Sam said. "Professor Alan Grant from MIT called with a theory. The aliens use a specific band of energy frequencies. Anything operating outside those bands seems invisible to their sensors." Lisa Bell, who had been analyzing the probe's materials, joined them. "He's right. Their technology is advanced but specialized. They've evolved to detect and block dangers they recognize." "So what don't they recognize?" Rogers asked. "Ordinary things," Lisa answered. "Things no spacefaring civilization would consider weapons." Wright looked skeptical. "Like what?" Sam grinned. "Like this." He turned on the modified blender. A high-pitched whine filled the room, and on a nearby screen showing the alien ships, one of the smaller vessels briefly shuddered. "What did you do?" Rogers demanded. "Created a disruption in their communication systems," Sam explained. "Temporarily, but it worked." Jack studied the blender. "We can't exactly get close enough to use these on their ships." "No," Sam agreed. "But what if we create bigger versions? And what if we find other everyday items that affect them?" Rogers nodded slowly. "We need to test more objects, find what works. And we need a delivery system," Lisa added. "Some way to get these makeshift weapons close enough to use." Wright stood up straight. "I have an idea about that. Captain Diane Lopes leads our Special Forces Infiltration Unit. If these household items don't register on alien sensors, her team could get close without being detected," Rogers finished. For the next 24 hours, a strange testing facility took shape. Scientists and engineers brought in everything from microwave ovens to toy train sets, testing their effects on captured alien materials. They discovered that certain sound frequencies from ordinary speakers could disrupt Valtharian neural networks. Microwave radiation at specific settings interfered with their ship controls. Even the motor from a washing machine, properly modified, could scramble their communications. Captain Diane Lopes arrived with her team, studying the collection of bizarre weapons. "So my elite soldiers will be armed with kitchen appliances and power tools." "Exactly," Sam said. "Nothing that looks like a weapon to them." Jack picked up a modified leaf blower that now projected focused sound waves. "We've got 30 hours left. If we're doing this, we need to move soon." Admiral Rogers looked at the strange arsenal they had cobbled together. It wasn't much, but it was something no alien would expect. "Major Wright, coordinate with Captain Lopes on the infiltration plan. Sam, Lisa, keep improving these devices. Jack, you'll be our liaison with the team." Rogers looked at each of them. "You're our best hope. If this works, we'll share the technology with every nation." As the group dispersed to their tasks, Sam looked at the alien ship visible through a small window. Humanity was about to fight back with toasters and blenders against advanced alien technology. Somehow, it seemed fitting. Night fell over the Nevada desert as Captain Diane Lopes and her team prepared for their mission. They wore no military gear or armor. Instead, they looked like ordinary maintenance workers in jumpsuits. Their weapons weren't guns or explosives, but modified household items strapped to their backs and belts. "I still can't believe we're doing this," whispered Jim Hayes, one of Diane's team members. Diane checked her equipment one more time. If Sam is right, the aliens won't see this stuff as dangerous. Lieutenant Jack Miller adjusted the modified kitchen timer on his wrist. It now emitted a signal that should mask their approach from alien sensors. The small scout ship lands every 12 hours near the old airfield. That's our target. Less talking, more moving, Diane ordered, leading her team toward the landing site. The Valtharian scout ship was smaller than the main vessels, about the size of a passenger plane. It hovered silently above the ground. A ramp extended down to the surface where 2 alien guards stood. The aliens were tall with 6 eyes and blue-gray skin. They held what looked like advanced rifles. Sensors showing anything. Diane whispered into her communicator. Nothing, Sam Carter replied from the command center miles away. They don't detect you. The kitchen timers are working. The team crept closer, keeping low to the ground. Jack held a modified microwave emitter, the kind people use to heat food. Sam had rewired it to project a concentrated beam that should affect Valtharian neural patterns. When they were 50 yards away, Diane gave the signal. Jack aimed the microwave device and activated it. The alien guards suddenly grabbed their heads, their 6 eyes blinking rapidly in pain. They collapsed to the ground, not dead but stunned. It worked, Jim whispered in shock. Move in, Diane ordered. The team rushed up the ramp into the alien ship. Inside, metal corridors glowed with a soft blue light. Lisa Bell, following behind with scanning equipment, pointed left. That way to their control room, according to the probe data. They encountered 2 more aliens inside. This time, Lisa used a modified hand mixer that created a high-pitched sound. The aliens fell to their knees, their gill-like structures fluttering in distress. In the control room, Sam's voice came through their earpieces. Look for anything that might tell us more about their weaknesses. Jack noticed a container of dark liquid that the aliens seemed to be drinking. He collected a sample while Lisa connected a tablet to the ship's control panel. I'm copying their data, Lisa said. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed through the corridors. They've detected the data breach, Sam warned. Get out now. As they turned to leave, a larger Valtharian appeared, blocking their path. It fired its weapon, hitting Jim in the shoulder. He fell back, dropping his device, a coffee maker filled with a mix of chemicals. The container burst open, spraying dark liquid across the floor and onto the alien. To everyone's surprise, the Valtharian began convulsing, its skin blistering where the liquid touched. It's the coffee, Lisa shouted, quickly scanning with her device. The caffeine. It's toxic to them. Diane didn't hesitate. She pulled out her own container, a modified spray bottle filled with strong coffee, and sprayed the alien directly. It screamed in a high-pitched tone before collapsing. Everyone out, Diane ordered, helping Jim to his feet. They barely escaped as the scout ship's engines powered up. From a safe distance, they watched it lift off, flying erratically back toward the main fleet. Back at the command center, Lisa analyzed her findings while medical staff treated Jim's wound. The coffee affected them like acid, she explained to Admiral Rogers. And I got valuable data from their systems. Their entire fleet has the same vulnerabilities. Sam looked at the scans of the aliens' biology. Caffeine disrupts their neural pathways. To them, it's a deadly neurotoxin. Jack laughed softly. So we can defeat an advanced alien species with coffee. Rogers picked up a coffee cup from the table, staring at it with new respect. Get this information to every military and civilian group worldwide. If they want to destroy humanity, they'll learn that to humans, anything can be a weapon, even our breakfast drinks. News of the caffeine discovery spread quickly across the globe. With only 18 hours left before the Valtharians' deadline, humans everywhere began preparing in ways no alien could have predicted. In Chicago, baristas filled pressurized tanks with espresso concentrate. In Brazil, coffee farmers loaded trucks with their strongest beans. In China, tea producers worked nonstop to extract and concentrate caffeine from their leaves. Major Olivia Wright coordinated the global defense from the Pentagon's war room. Reports coming in from all sectors. She announced to Admiral Rogers, "People are converting everything from spray bottles to fire trucks into caffeine delivery systems." On screens around the room, they watched civilians and soldiers working side by side. Car wash equipment was being modified to spray coffee solutions. Crop dusting planes were filled with caffeine mixtures. Fire departments adjusted their equipment to shoot streams of the dark liquid further and with more force. "This might be the strangest war preparation in human history," Rogers said with a small smile. "But it's working," Wright replied. "People feel hope again." The aliens noticed the unusual activity. 3 Valtharian ships broke formation and descended toward major cities: New York, Beijing, and London. They began firing energy weapons, destroying military bases and government buildings. In New York, people ran for cover as alien fighters swooped between skyscrapers. From his apartment window, Ben Kelly, a plumber, watched the destruction. Next to him sat his tools and a large coffee maker he had modified based on instructions shared online. When a Valtharian ground patrol entered his street, Ben didn't hesitate. He aimed his makeshift weapon from the window and sprayed the coffee solution directly at the aliens. They screamed and fell, their skin burning on contact. Across the street, neighbors saw what happened and joined in with their own coffee weapons. Within minutes, the entire patrol was down. Similar scenes play out worldwide. In London, Chef Nancy Brown led restaurant workers armed with modified soda dispensers filled with concentrated tea. In Beijing, college students used water guns filled with energy drinks to ambush alien scouts. At the command center, reports flooded in of successful civilian resistance. "It's working better than we expected," Sam Carter said, reviewing the data. "The Valtharians never encountered this kind of distributed defense before. They don't know how to respond to attacks coming from everywhere." Lisa Bell pointed to satellite images showing Valtharian ground forces retreating to their ships. "They're pulling back. These advanced aliens don't know how to handle being attacked by kitchen appliances and garden hoses." Jack Miller smiled as he prepared to join Diane's team for another mission. "That's the thing about humans. We don't just use weapons as weapons. We turn anything into a weapon when we need to." On their flagship, Commander Zexthal was furious. Reports of casualties were coming in from all ground forces. The humans were using some kind of chemical weapon that caused extreme pain and death to Valtharian soldiers. "How are they delivering this toxin?" he demanded of his science officer. "They appear to be using drinking containers and primitive water distribution systems," the officer replied, confusion evident in his voice. "Our sensors didn't classify these items as weapons." Zexthal slammed his 6-fingered hand on the control panel. "These humans are more resourceful than our intelligence suggested. Recall all ground forces immediately." The deadline was approaching, but now it was the Valtharians who needed time to reconsider. Their easy victory had turned into an unexpected struggle against a species that fought back with drink dispensers and garden tools. In the Pentagon war room, Admiral Rogers watched the alien ships pulling back to higher orbit. "They're retreating," he said. "Not leaving, but regrouping." Major Wright nodded. "Then we need to press our advantage. It's time to take the fight to them." Across the globe, humans continued preparing, converting everyday items into weapons. The Valtharians had made a critical mistake. They had threatened a species that could turn anything, absolutely anything, into a means of survival. The Valtharian deadline passed. Instead of humans surrendering, the aliens faced a planet fully prepared to fight. Their response was swift and terrible. All 7 massive ships moved into attack formation and began their assault on Earth. Energy beams cut through the atmosphere, targeting military bases and major cities. The ground shook as explosions lit up the sky. Millions of people took shelter underground as the first wave of alien fighters descended. "They're hitting everywhere at once," Major Wright reported, watching the global attack map in the command center. "Too many targets for us to defend." Admiral Rogers' face was grim but determined. "Then we stick to the plan. We can't stop their initial attack, but we can surprise them when they land." Sam Carter and Lisa Bell had worked through the night, improving their makeshift weapons. They'd discovered that mixing caffeine with sugar created an even more potent compound against the Voltherian biology. "The strike teams are in position," Jack Miller reported. "Captain Lopez's units are ready near all major landing zones." Around the world, humans waited with their strange arsenal of weapons. In France, winemakers had filled bottles with coffee mixtures and distributed them as grenades. In Russia, snow machines were modified to spray caffeine solutions. In Japan, garden sprinklers created protective barriers around neighborhoods. The first Voltherian ground forces landed outside Chicago. Thousands of tall, six-eyed soldiers marched from their ships, weapons ready. They expected to find a broken, cowering population. Instead, they met organized resistance. Fire trucks sprayed high-pressure streams of coffee directly at their formations. Crop dusters flew overhead, releasing clouds of caffeine dust. Ordinary citizens attacked from windows and rooftops with spray bottles and modified pressure washers. The aliens fell back, their skin burning, their neural systems overloaded by the caffeine. Similar scenes played out globally as humans fought back with their improvised weapons. Commander Zexthal watched in growing anger as reports of failures flooded in. How are they coordinating these attacks? Their communication systems were destroyed. What the aliens didn't understand was that humans had centuries of experience fighting without advanced technology. They used car horns, bicycle messengers, and old-fashioned radios to coordinate their defense. In a hospital in London, Sam Carter's biggest project was ready. He and a team of doctors had modified an MRI machine to emit targeted electromagnetic pulses that could disrupt the alien ship controls. "Power it up," he ordered, watching as the massive machine hummed to life. When activated, it sent out invisible waves that made 3 nearby alien fighters crash into each other. "It works. Get this design to every hospital globally." Meanwhile, Jack Miller led a small team toward the Voltherian command ship that had landed near Washington, D.C. Their plan was bold: infiltrate the main vessel using hospital equipment modified into weapons. "Remember, nothing that looks like a weapon," Jack reminded his team as they approached in maintenance uniforms, pushing carts loaded with coffee makers, blenders, and ultrasound machines. The alien sensors let them pass, not recognizing everyday items as threats. Once inside, they moved quickly toward the ship's engine room. Jack carried what looked like an ordinary vacuum cleaner, now filled with a mixture of coffee and energy drinks. "Aim for their control panels," Diane Lopes instructed as they reached the central chamber. "The liquid will short-circuit their systems." They attacked swiftly, spraying the alien technology with caffeine solutions and activating modified sound devices that disoriented the Voltherian crew. Alarms blared as the ship's systems began failing. Back at the command center, Major Wright received reports of similar infiltrations worldwide. "The ground teams are succeeding. 5 of their ships are reporting system failures." Admiral Rogers allowed himself a small smile. "The Voltherians made one critical mistake. They judged our weapons by their appearance, not their effectiveness." The battle for Earth continued, but for the first time, the tide was turning. Humanity was fighting back with toasters, coffee makers, and garden hoses, and winning. Commander Zexthal stood on the bridge of his damaged flagship. Screens around him showed Voltherian forces retreating worldwide. His carefully planned invasion was falling apart because of beverages and kitchen appliances. It made no sense. "Bring me the human leader," he ordered. Admiral Rogers was escorted onto the bridge by alien guards. Despite being a prisoner, he walked with confidence. "Your species continues to surprise us," Zexthal said, his 6 eyes blinking in sequence. "No other race has ever used such primitive methods against us." "That's where you made your mistake," Rogers replied calmly. "You measured us by our technology, not our creativity." Meanwhile, deep inside the flagship, Jack Miller and his team had reached the ship's central computer core. Lisa Bell worked quickly, connecting her tablet to the alien system. "I'm in," she whispered, "downloading their fleet data now." Sam Carter guarded the door with his modified vacuum cleaner. "Hurry, we don't have much time." On screens throughout the ship, Lisa's virus began displaying images: Earth's hospitals, schools, and homes, places the Voltharians had targeted for destruction, but also scenes of human kindness, creativity, and resilience. Back on the bridge, Zexthal watched these images with growing confusion. "What is this?" "This is who we are," Rogers said. "Not just warriors, but builders, creators, problem solvers." The images shifted to show the Voltharian attacks, then humans fighting back with coffee makers and garden hoses. The contrast was stark. Advanced weapons versus everyday items repurposed as defense. "Your High Council didn't tell you everything about us, did they?" Rogers asked. Zexthal's gills fluttered in surprise. "What do you know of our council?" Lisa had found the truth in the Voltharian data. The ship's computer revealed that the High Council had specifically chosen Earth because humans were classified as resourceful but technologically immature. The Council believed this combination made Earth valuable. Humans could work as problem solvers for the Empire, but wouldn't have the technology to resist. "They sent you here to capture us, not destroy us," Rogers continued. "They wanted our creativity, our ability to turn anything into a tool or weapon when needed." Major Wright's voice came through Rogers' hidden earpiece. "All teams report ready. We have control of their weapon systems. You have a choice," Rogers told Zexthal. "Continue this fight, which you're now losing, or leave." As if to emphasize his point, the ship's lights flickered. Jack's team had rigged common hospital defibrillators to disrupt the power systems. Zexthal received reports that humans had infiltrated all 7 ships. Using ordinary items his sensors couldn't detect as threats. They faced enemies who turned coffee into weapons and kitchen timers into shields. "The Council was wrong about you," Zexthal admitted. "You are not technologically immature. You simply use technology differently." "We adapt," Rogers said simply. "It's what humans do best." Zexthal made his decision. "We will withdraw. But know this, other species will hear of Earth now. Some will come as enemies, others as allies." Within hours, the Voltharian ships began leaving Earth's orbit. Jack and his team were safely extracted, bringing with them valuable alien technology and data. In the aftermath, nations worldwide celebrated. The victory had united humanity in ways no one thought possible. People everywhere shared stories of how they had turned ordinary objects into weapons of resistance. 1 month later, a new alien ship appeared in orbit. Unlike the Voltharians, they came peacefully, requesting to meet with Earth's leaders. "We have heard stories," their ambassador said, "of the species that defeated the Voltharian armada with beverages and cooking devices. We wish to form an alliance." Admiral Rogers smiled as he welcomed them. Earth had earned a new reputation among the stars, home to a species that could turn anything, absolutely anything, into a means of survival. A species that should never be underestimated. Beyond our solar system, the Voltharians added a new warning to their database. Humans, approach with extreme caution. To them, anything can be a weapon.